Have you ever walked into a room and completely forgotten why you were there? Or found yourself searching for your glasses, only to realize they were on your head the whole time? If that's ever happened to you, don't worry, you're in very good company. As we get older, little memory slips like that can become more frequent. And while they're often harmless, they can be frustrating, even a little scary. You might wonder, is this just aging, or is something wrong with my brain? Here's the truth, forgetfulness isn't always a sign of something serious. But it can be a wake-up call. A gentle nudge from your brain, saying, hey, I need a little more attention. In fact, a lot of the memory problems we experience as we age don't come from age itself, but from daily habits we might not even realize are hurting our brains. That's what we're talking about today. Not just what makes us forgetful, but what we can do instead to keep our minds clear, focused, and strong. Because here's the thing, your brain is still powerful. It still learns, heals, rewires, and grows, even into your 70s, 80s, and beyond. But like any part of your body, it needs care. And sometimes that means letting go of little mistakes we've been making without knowing. So let's start with the first one. And this is something I see all the time, especially among people who have retired or slowed down their routines, not challenging your brain enough. Now, I get it. After decades of working, raising families, dealing with stress, of course you want peace and quiet. But the brain? It loves a little challenge. When it stops being stretched, it starts to slip. Just like muscles get weaker if you stop moving them, your memory can fade when it's not being used. And I'm not talking about doing calculus or learning a new language overnight. Small things make a big difference. Learning a new card game. Trying out a recipe without using the instructions. Reading a book in a new genre. Even switching up your walking route can stimulate new areas in your brain. The point isn't to be perfect, it's to be curious. To invite your brain to wake up each day and say, let's try something different. So if lately you've been doing the same things over and over, watching the same shows, eating the same meals, talking to the same people, ask yourself, what's one small thing I can switch up today to surprise my brain? Now, the second mistake is something most of us are guilty of, not sleeping deeply enough. Sleep is like the overnight cleaning crew for your brain. While you're resting, your brain is hard at work organizing memories, clearing out toxins, and repairing neural connections. If you're not sleeping well, or you're waking up tired every morning, your brain simply hasn't had time to reset. It's no wonder you forget appointments or struggle to find the right word. Your brain is foggy because it's tired. Now, poor sleep can come from lots of things, aches and pains, needing to use the bathroom often, stress, even late-night TV. But one of the sneakiest culprits? Scrolling on phones or tablets too close to bedtime. That blue light tricks your brain into thinking it's still daytime and delays the release of melatonin, the hormone that helps you fall asleep. So here's a simple fix that can make a big difference. Turn off screens an hour before bed. Try reading a physical book instead. Or listening to gentle music. Or writing a few lines in a journal. Give your brain time to wind down, and it'll reward you with better memory and more clarity in the morning. That brings us to the third mistake, one that doesn't get talked about enough, not staying socially engaged. This one can sneak up on you. Maybe you've stopped going to gatherings. Maybe you've lost touch with friends. Or maybe your days just feel a little quieter than they used to. And while solitude can be peaceful, too much of it can dull the brain. Social interaction isn't just about chatting, it's mental exercise. It involves memory, language, emotional connection, even quick decision-making. Every time you talk with someone, share a story, tell a joke, ask a question, your brain is firing on multiple levels. That's why people who stay socially active tend to stay mentally sharp longer. So if you've been isolating more than usual, here's something to try. Make one social connection today. Call an old friend. Chat with your neighbor. Join a local group, even a small one. It doesn't have to be big or loud. Just a moment of shared experience. You'll be surprised how much lighter and sharper you feel afterward. Now that we've covered these common brain-draining habits, doing the same thing every day, not getting quality sleep, and staying too isolated, let's keep going. Because there are still a couple of surprising reasons why memory can slip more than it needs to. If you're still watching and feel that these insights are meaningful, please type number 2 in the comments to let me know you're still with me. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I warmly invite you to do so, and don't forget to turn on the bell, so you won't miss any of our upcoming videos designed to uplift, inform, and inspire. Your support truly means a lot. It's what keeps us going and allows us to continue sharing thoughtful, helpful content just for you. Now, let's continue this journey together. We've already touched on how falling into routines, not sleeping well, or isolating ourselves can slowly chip away at our memory. But there's another sneaky habit that tends to creep up with age, one that can feel harmless, but quietly affects how clearly we think. I'm talking about multitasking, trying to do too many things at once. Now, some people think multitasking is a sign of efficiency. And maybe in our younger years, it felt like we had no choice, juggling kids, work, meals, errands, all in a single afternoon. But here's what we now know: the brain isn't actually built to focus on several things at the same time. What it does is quickly switch attention back and forth, which takes a mental toll. And as we get older, that toll becomes more noticeable. When you're half listening to the news, half texting a friend, and also cooking dinner, it's no wonder you forget where you put the salt, or what your friend just said, or what the news story was even about. It's not forgetfulness. It's overload. That's why one of the most powerful ways to protect your memory is to practice doing one thing at a time. If you're in conversation, really be there. If you're reading, put the phone down. If you're walking, just enjoy the walk, notice the trees, the breeze, the sounds around you. This kind of mindful focus doesn't just help you remember more, it also reduces stress. Your brain thanks you by working better, not harder. And there's another surprising factor that can make memory worse if we're not careful, something many people overlook: poor hydration. Yes, something as simple as not drinking enough water can actually fog your brain. Your brain is nearly 75% water, and even slight dehydration can affect concentration, alertness, and memory. The tricky part is that as we age, we often feel less thirsty, even when our bodies need fluids. Maybe you've had days where you just feel off, a little tired or spacey, and thought it was just part of aging. But sometimes, it's your body saying, "I need water." So here's a gentle reminder: keep a glass or bottle of water nearby throughout the day. Sip it regularly, even if you're not thirsty. Add a slice of lemon or cucumber if that helps it go down easier. Herbal teas work too, as long as they're not packed with sugar or caffeine. Think of water as fuel for your thoughts. When your brain is hydrated, it's more alert, more focused, and less forgetful. Simple as that. Now, all this talk about avoiding mistakes is helpful, but let's take it one step further. What can you actively do, starting today, to build better memory? Here's something that doesn't take a lot of time or energy, but works wonders when done consistently: engage your senses when trying to remember something. Our brains remember better when we connect information to sight, sound, touch, or even smell. Say you meet someone named Carol. Instead of just repeating her name in your head, look at her sweater. Is it a deep red? Hear the tone of her voice. Is it soft, friendly? Picture the name written across her forehead, if that helps. Or connect her to something familiar, Carol, like the Christmas song. It might sound silly, but attaching information to sensory or emotional cues helps the brain lock it in. Same with appointments or errands. Instead of just writing doctor in your calendar, say it aloud as you write it. Picture yourself in the waiting room. Or better yet, tell someone else, "I've got my checkup on Friday." The more angles you use, sight, speech, imagination, the more your brain stores the memory like a sticky note it won't lose. Even cooking can become a memory game. Touch the texture of ingredients, smell the spices, describe out loud what you're doing. These tiny sensory habits act like glue for your memory. And the best part? It makes everyday life feel more vivid and enjoyable. You're not just going through the motions, you're living them. So, to recap where we are so far, but without sounding like a checklist, here's the big picture. When we fall into habits like multitasking, neglecting hydration, or going through life on autopilot, our memory pays the price. But the fix isn't complicated. In fact, it's refreshingly simple. Slow down, be present, drink water, and use your senses. Let your brain enjoy the richness of each moment. Now, we've covered a lot already. But there's still one more memory mistake that many people make, and it often goes unnoticed. It has to do with how we talk to ourselves. Because the words we use about our memory, even in passing, can deeply affect how our brain performs. So let's talk about something that almost no one connects to memory, but it plays a huge role in how our brain works day after day. It's the way we talk to ourselves. You might be thinking, what does that have to do with remembering things? But let me ask you this, how many times have you said, even jokingly, something like, I'm getting old, or my brain doesn't work like it used to, or I'm just so forgetful these days? We often say these things out of habit. Or we laugh it off to make light of a situation, like forgetting a name or misplacing the car keys. But here's what's happening under the surface, your brain is listening. When we constantly tell ourselves that we're forgetful, that we can't focus, that our memory is fading, it becomes a kind of script the brain follows. Over time, we stop trying. We stop challenging ourselves. We accept forgetfulness as our new normal, even when there's still so much potential left to unlock. That's the real danger. Not the occasional slip, we all have those, but believing that it's out of our hands. But what if, instead of saying my memory is getting worse, you said I'm learning how to remember better? Or I can still sharpen my mind? It may sound simple, but this kind of mindset shift can lead to real, measurable improvements. Because the brain is flexible. It responds to what we believe about it. That's why staying mentally optimistic is more than just feel-good advice, it's brain science. So, if you catch yourself speaking negatively about your memory, pause. And gently replace that thought. Try, that's okay, I'll remember it next time. Or, my brain just needed a second. You're not pretending the mistake didn't happen, you're simply not letting it define you. Now, that brings us to the heart of it all, the big takeaway from everything we've shared today. Your memory is not a fixed thing. It's not doomed to decline just because of a number on your birthday cake. Sure, changes happen. But decline is not your destiny. Your brain is alive. It's growing. It wants stimulation, hydration, rest, connection, focus, and maybe most of all, belief. Belief that you still have the power to care for it. Let's just take a breath and appreciate that for a moment. You are not powerless. In fact, you are in a better position than ever to choose how you care for your mind. You have the wisdom of experience. The time to explore new things. The freedom to set your own routines. And now, you've got some tools to protect your memory and even help it improve. Here's what I want you to remember, above all else, forgetfulness isn't something to fear. It's something to work with. It's your brain's way of asking for attention, not giving up. So whether it's by switching up your routine, prioritizing sleep, reaching out to a friend, focusing on one task at a time, sipping water, or speaking kindly to yourself, you're already doing something powerful. You're training your brain to stay clear, focused, and present. And that presence? That's where the joy is. In remembering names again. In finishing a story without losing your place. In walking into a room and knowing exactly why you're there. You deserve that clarity. You deserve to feel sharp and confident. And you absolutely can, no matter your age. If this video gave you a new perspective or made you feel even a little more hopeful, let us know in the comments. Share a memory tip that works for you, or just say hello. I love hearing from you, and your story might inspire someone else. And if you found this helpful, go ahead and give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We've got more practical, uplifting content coming your way, all designed to help you feel your best, body, mind, and spirit. Here's to staying sharp, staying strong, and staying curious. Because life doesn't stop at 60 or 70 or even 90. Your best years can still be ahead, and your memory can come along for the ride. Here's to living your best life at any age. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.